morning, class. Dr. Salway isn't able to make it today, so I'm going to be filling in for him. My name is Mark, and today we're going to be discussing how the science of genetic modification is portrayed through mainstream media and the various regulations that the authorities need to impose to ensure that the science is used appropriately and not exploited for personal gain. Various movies that we have watched previously in this course, such as Blade Runner, Gattaca, and Jurassic Park all demonstrate to us both the various opportunities and damaging effects that exploiting genetic modification can impose on society. So class, does anyone know what genetic modification is? Alrighty then, does anyone know what a chromosome is? Okay, yep, you at the front.
All living creatures are made of cells, and chromosomes are found within most cells. Chromosomes carry genetic information in the form of something known as genes, and when multiple genes are in a sequence, they form DNA. Certain genes are responsible for different physical characteristics within an organism.
Wow, good job. Given that lovely explanation by Mina, it is easier to explain what genetic modification is. Genetic modification is when scientists modify the genetic code of an organism in order to produce a desired trait. Although genetic modification is still a hotly debated topic within the media until this day, it has surprisingly been around for almost 50 years already, and society relies on it for the production of various foods and medication. However, genetic engineering also has a potential dark side which the media has made clear to us through the aforementioned films. Therefore, it is essential that we don't get carried away with it and we use it sparingly. Let's start off by talking about genetic modification within the movie Blade Runner. Just a short recap of what the movie is about. So Blade Runner was filmed back in 1982 and is set in the year 2019. It tells the story of an ex-police officer by the name Rick Deckard, who is assigned the task of tracking down genetically engineered beings known as replicants and killing them. He is given this task as 4 replicants have come to Earth illegally in an attempt to increase their programmed 4-year lifespan. The replicants are all genetically engineered by their creator Eldon Tyrell at his company, Tyrell Corporations, and are created with human emotions, thoughts, and memories. Although the replicants possess human-like qualities, they are treated as slaves and their life is given no value. Eldon Tyrell uses his knowledge of genetics to create the replicants only for his own economic gain and does not consider the possibility that the replicants may desire more life.
I brought a friend.
I'm surprised you didn't come here sooner.
It's not an easy thing to meet your maker.
And what can he do for you?
Can the maker repair what he makes?
Would you like to be modified?
Stay here. I had in mind something a little more radical.
What seems to be the problem?
Death.
Death. Well, I'm afraid that's a little out of my jurisdiction.
I want more life, Father.
As seen in the previous clip, Roy asks his creator Eldon Tyrell to extend his life. However, Tyrell responds in an extremely insensitive and uncompassionate manner, saying it is out of my jurisdiction. This ideology raises a lot of ethical issues associated with this branch of science in terms of the rights and protection that genetically modified organisms have in our society. This issue was highlighted back in 2003 when the first cloned animal, Dolly the sheep, was put down. Dolly was cloned in 1996 and was expected to live a standard 10 to 12 years that any sheep usually does. However, scientists did not consider the possible pain that Dolly would experience prior to the cloning procedure and ignorantly continued with it. Dolly was eventually euthanized after 6 years, as it was revealed that Dolly was suffering from arthritis and various other diseases. Although science has advanced tremendously over the years, and it is now possible to clone and genetically modify various organisms, it is essential that all the repercussions and possible outcomes are considered. Regulations must be established to ensure that such organisms are treated humanely and creators are held accountable for the well-being of their creation. Based on what we've spoken about so far regarding Blade Runner, is there anyone who can provide a similar analysis of the movie Gattaca? Okay, yep, you again at the front.
The science fiction movie Gattaca presents a dystopian society that is greatly advanced in technology with various scientific breakthroughs. This movie cleverly portrays both the negatives and positives that are associated with the science of genetic engineering. In a world where genetic discrimination is deemed illegal, Vincent Anton Freeman, the protagonist, is discriminated against due to his inferior genetic composition. His inferior makeup renders him incapable of becoming an astronaut at the company of Gattaca. In this manner, genetic engineering is presented in a negative light as society adopts unjust standards towards other individuals within their community.
Like many others in my situation, I moved around a lot in the next few years, getting work where I could. I must have cleaned half the toilets in the state. I belonged to a new underclass, no longer determined by social status or the color of your skin.
Welcome to Gattaca, gentlemen.
No. We now have discrimination down to a science.
Contrary to such, genetic engineering assists in the eradication of various diseases and also has the ability to prolong human life. It therefore portrays the power of science in a positive light throughout the film. The film Gattaca presents science as a two-edged sword. Although it shows great potential in eliminating the risk of disease and infection among populations, it can also introduce discrimination within society. These thoughts have recently been shared by the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, who states that it could make inequality worse, especially if it is available only for wealthy people. With the ever-expanding world of science that we live in, these hypothetical scientific advancements shown throughout Gattaca are now becoming a reality. Therefore, the ethical implications must be discussed and clearly outlined in order to prevent any issues of inequality.
Very well done, mate. I would give you full marks for that response if you were to answer that in your upcoming assignment. Now, what better way to conclude this class than with the famous words of Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park, who states,
Don't you see the danger, John, inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
Ready. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Thanks, class. I'll see you guys next lecture. Bye-bye.